Yeah, I'll give it to you before I leave.
All right.
Yeah, she needs to. She didn't know
Tamar
there
brought
was
up
no
a good
class
issue.
last Monday.
I brought it up a week or two ago,
Yes.
and I think it's a good thing to talk about. Well, not a good thing. It's a controversial thing, but it's a good thing.
No, it's controversial is good.
Because of that. Hanukah is a week away from now. I want to read to you.
Not even.
Not even, right? Less than a week. Today will be the first day of Hanukah. Meaning last night will have been a week from the first night of Hanukah.
Saturday night.
Saturday night.
Saturday night's the first
First
night.
It's Monday, you're right.
Yes.
I'm still on Sunday, Chavay Shalom.
This Saturday.
It's already going to be the second night of Hanukkah. Second day of Hanukkah. Meaning the third night would be tonight. Correct?
Yeah.
What, in Israel?
No, here.
Yeah.
Here.
Next
Saturday
Monday
night
will
is
be
next
the, when we
Monday,
meet will be the
okay.
third night of Hanukkah, he said.
I'm a little slow.
It's okay.
I have to hear it twice.
That's okay.
Some of us need to hear more than that.
What does Hanukkah mean to you? When you hear the celebration of Hanukkah, what are you celebrating? What is the celebration about? What happened? What happened?
I think of the Israelis in the desert.
Okay,
Interesting.
That's how that's my first thought.
all right,
I think of the Maccabees and they're busy fighting in the temple.
okay.
That's what I've always been taught.
I think of latkes.
Now there's an honest answer.
I think of
My
Campbell's.
kind of girl.
Candles.
And candles and latkes.
That's cute.
That's what my granddaughter said. The first thing she said, "Oh, Grandma latkes."
Even our grandkids know the Hanukkah song.
Right. the only
Drano?
song, the only Hanukkah song.
I think that most people think of Hanukkah
As being a happy
as a
holiday.
happy holiday,
And it's
a
not.
beautiful holiday, light over darkness, good over bad, religious freedom and liberty, and all kinds of things like that. People bring out on Hanukkah. I'm not here to take this away from you. I don't want to mess up Hanukkah for you. Hanukkah is a beautiful Jewish holiday. One just has to be responsible when celebrating it, because the messages that can be taken out of the Hanukkah miracle are very different depending on who you are and who your clientele is and what agenda you're trying to push. When I was in yeshiva, the story of Hanukkah was told somewhat in the following context. Don't quote me word for word. I'm not denigrating anybody. Just sharing with you the first time I remember hearing the story of Hanukkah told like this. Who cares about the Greeks? That war we knew we were going to win. We were fighting a war. Just tell you what I heard. We were fighting a war against the Reform people. The ones who are not so orthodox. The ones who don't really keep Shabbat and kosher and they want to be like the Greeks. Greeks being Americans. Put it in your head. And we won. And we celebrate. And that's the story of Hanukkah in every generation. That even if we're the minority, we're always going to win. Now this works. In a place where you are an Orthodox population, where you clearly feel you're at war. Sure, not all Orthodox Jews feel they're at war with other denominations of Judaism. To each their own. But in a place where you do feel you're at war, we might be outnumbered, but we're still going to win. That was the story of Hanukkah. And I remember thinking for the first time in my life, I don't like that story of Hanukkah. That doesn't really sit so well with me. But am I just whitewashing the Hanukkah story? The Hanukkah story is a pretty intense story.
It is.
And the details of the story, historically, religiously, theologically, have many ramifications for many things throughout our Jewish history that happened afterwards.
You have competition.
It's good. He's talking early. That's important. Just like his mom.
That's a good thing.
Well, he
That's
has
a
a lot
good
of
thing.
competition.
Yes. Sure. He has to get a voice. I once asked my wife, why do you always interrupt me when I'm talking? I said, only if I didn't interrupt you, I would never be able to talk. In the prayer of Chanukah that we say in the Amidah 3 times a day for the 8 days of Chanukah, Al Hanisim, and the miracles, Val Purkan, the deliverance, Val Gvurot, and the might, Val Teshuot, and on the salvations, Val Hanifalot, and on the wonders, Val Hanechamot, and for the comforts, She'asita Lavotenu B'yamim Hahem B'zman Hazeh. We give thanks to you for the miracles that you did for our ancestors then and in this time. Then we say the following paragraph, I'll read it to you in English. In the days of Mattatiyah the Chashmonai, son of Yochanan the Kohen Gadol, and his sons, the wicked Greek Empire rose up against your people Israel to make them forget your Torah and transgress the statutes of your will. Then in your abundant mercy, and you should know, this version is a Sephardic version, but they're all pretty much the same. It's the same story, they're telling just slightly different words. Then in your abundant mercy you stood up for them at their time of distress. You fought their battle, judged their claim, and took their revenge. You delivered the strong into the hands of the weak. The many into the hands of the few. The wicked into the hands of the righteous. The impure into the hands of the pure. And the rebels into the hands of those immersed in their Torah. You made a great and holy name for yourself and your world, and you made a great salvation and deliverance for your nation Israel that has lasted until this day. Afterward, your children entered the inner chamber of your temple, emptied your sanctuary of idols, purified your Beit HaMikdash, and lit candles in your holy courtyard. They established these 8 days as the time of reciting the Hallel and Thanksgiving. You did miracles and wonders for them, and we give thanks to your great name. So, that's the prayer. I'm just letting you know now. Hanan is getting out early, so I'm going to have to end off my class sometimes at 11:30 and 11:40. I just have to have time to get there, that's all. I don't want to trick anybody with that. This story here is one of an oppressed people that were overtaken by a Greek occupation. It's not the first time in our history we've been occupied, whether it's in someone else's country or in our own country, but we've found ourselves being oppressed many times in our history. You should know, I have to say something, and I mean this in no... I'm not talking about things that you're thinking in your head. I'm talking about it on a real level. If there's anybody in the world who should have long ago abandoned any line of racist thinking, it should have been the Jewish people. We have been through too much, and at the hands of too many different kinds of people. I think it was Chaim Weizmann who once said, when we're capitalists, they hate us because we're capitalists. And when we are socialists, they hate us because we're socialists. And when we're Democrats, when we're this, when we're that, and a whole list of things. No matter what it is that we seem to do, we still hate us.
Yes.
Racism is something that doesn't come from a place of logic. It comes from a place of, I don't know where it comes from. I don't, the origins of this I don't understand. Hatred of he who is different than I, that's for sure. But there's no logical thought process that goes into this. And this prejudice, this bias, this bigotry that can happen is very dangerous. And it has always turned on us. Always. Everywhere that we've been. It has always come back on us. And Amazon has to be careful. I've been to too many places where I'll hear a story, someone tells a story, someone will say something, and they'll throw in something that's in my opinion, not something that a Jew should be saying.
Correct.
And a person has to think a million times over. We have been at the brunt of other people's hatred and occupation for way too long. And just the fact that we are celebrating a fairly short amount of time in freedom, or what seems to be freedom. What do I mean relatively short? How long have Jews been here? 60 years, 70 years.
That's right.
I mean, 7 years ago we were being put into gas chambers. So the Jewish people haven't been free for even 100 years. It hasn't happened to us. And in 70 years to become so comfortable.
Oh, you're not happy.
I think he wants to sleep.
What's the matter? What?
I think he wants to sleep.
Oh, okay.
If you put him on your shoulder and just pat him.
It's fine. What should I put him
Or
in?
you put him in the stroller and.
You know, it's interesting. Many of you may have had mothers that spoke Yiddish. My mother always spoke Yiddish. And she had a distinct accent as well. So when she wanted to refer to someone as the Goyim, or the Shiksa, or the Shagets, I don't know, every time I heard one of those 3 words, something inside of me wanted to just punch her. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this immigrant woman, you know, like,
You know what
it
I
just
don't
turned
like?
me off. And she always, those were like her
I
3
hate
famous
it when I
words
hear that.
to describe people.
Yeah, it's
And I was brought up with that because we only spoke Yiddish in our home.
Yeah, and it's sort of
Remember,
what you're saying,
there was a
you know,
lawsuit.
it's like,
There was a lawsuit in Baltimore when I was there. There was a lady who had witnessed a crime in the house of her. Someone had stolen from them. She was a cleaning lady, and she was very close with the family. And someone else had broken. I don't know what happened. She was the witness in court. And when she came to testify, they asked her, "What is she to this family?" And she said, "I'm their Schwarza." Now you have to understand, in her head, Shvarza meant cleaning lady. But in a, at least in the Yiddish speaker, my culture,
Means
there's
Shvarza
no,
means
there's
just
no word for it.
black.
It means
But
black, but it's
the
used in the way
used,
of.
it's
And
pejorative.
Yes.
I've never used this word aside from in the story I just shared with you right now. I've
Derogatory.
never used this word, but we just don't speak Yiddish. I mean, these words are not in my lexicon. But even if they were, and even if at some point in time somebody would tell me that it wasn't meant in such a fashion, we have to be very careful about the things that we say and the way we speak and the way we talk. And you've heard my classes. You know my opinion already on. Ryan, can you pass me that green book behind you? It's better for me just to read it to you than to say it.
I mean, you're talking about your mother, and I think
No,
my
the
mother,
other, sorry, the other
she
green
was
book.
more of
That
a
one.
self-hating Jew. I mean, she was very, she was happy that I married somebody who had a black daughter. She was happy. She said, I never will like somebody with a hat and a beard. You know, like, you know, so.
Interesting. Yeah. Mothers.
Well,
Mothers and daughters.
right. I mean,
Your
she grew
mother
up
came
extremely
from Europe.
assimilated.
Yeah,
so.
from Russia.
And Europe was where the
Hatred.
non-Jews were oppressing the Jews so
Marlene, but,
significantly.
I want to tell you, this is what I was told also. As a child.
I'm not justifying it, but I'm saying
No,
that
you're right. No, you're right. This is where that comes from. Jews were oppressed, and part of having an inferiority complex is to try to knock down he who is in your head superior to you. The guy then was the guy who could kill me tomorrow if he wanted at a kangaroo court. So the only thing I have on him is to tell a joke about him or to use a bad word against him. I'm in a powerless place in my shtetl.
Yeah,
In
and
some,
the-
this is
And the feeling, the sentiment of dislike has a reason to be there.
sure. And so I want to tell you though that
But it's also
when I got married to my wife, she would tell. She had nieces that would call her up every night for bedtime stories. So she still sometimes has nieces. You know, one of the mothers are busy. Call Vori on the phone and she'll tell you a bedtime story. So it helps that we're a few hours earlier. And the stories that I keep hearing were, once upon a time, there was a Jew, he was traveling to go meet his Rebbe, and he went to the forest, and a Cossack came out and stole his money and beat him up, and he had to crawl out of the forest, and then another Cossack found him and hit him on the head and kicked him in the, and then there was a miracle, and the bear came, and the Cossack ran for his life. He said, "Thank you, Hashem, for saving me from the Cossacks." And the story, and every story is a variation of this story. I went to the fort, and it wasn't the Cossack. It was someone from whoever it was. The story happened. It was Ivan from the bar, from the tavern. It was
Poritz.
Alexander was the Poritz.
Yes, the Poritz.
There are all kinds of such stories. Okay, you hear one story like that, I get it. I mean, they're not fake stories. I get it. I hear them. Fine. It's like 3 months into telling bedtime stories. Is there one story in which Ivan is not beating up a Jew? One story? Is there even a story? Forget. Why do you have to talk about non-Jews in your story? You're telling a Jewish kid a bedtime story. Can't you just tell a story about the Jew who went to the synagogue and met the rabbi and came home? Why does it have to involve this? And my wife said, I never thought about that before. And she thought, and she changed her style of bedtime story. And if I were to tell you that my grandparents were not persecuted in Yemen or Morocco for being Jewish, it would be a lie. It would be a lie.
Absolutely.
There is this thing that people think, Ashkenazi Jews had a Holocaust and the Sephardic Jews didn't, and
That's not
it's
true.
not an accurate statement.
That's not an accurate
There were
statement.
many Sephardic countries which the Nazis reached as well. Many
Absolutely.
Sephardic Jews
And
who
even without the Nazis,
Yeah, even the people themselves that they were
Yeah.
not.
And just because
Yeah,
it
I
wasn't a
know.
Holocaust didn't mean that it wasn't something beforehand. And we
Of
had
course
our
there
own
was.
style of pogroms and our own style
Absolutely.
of if they weren't crusaders, then they were Muslim fanatics.
That's
or they
right.
weren't. And I'm not here to say my grandparents suffered as much as yours did. It's not the point of the story. The point of the story is two people who went through similar experiences being in exile, and I'm not sure why we're still. I understand why in our heart there's a resentment, but we're not. If we lived in Poland, I'd say, when I went to Poland, I struggled very much. I went to the concentration camps, and I stood in a place called Majdanek, and it was a concentration camp.
Yes.
Now, everyone said that they didn't see it, they didn't hear it. We didn't know it was here.
Sure.
I'm standing in a gas chamber in Majdanek, looking out of a window, and it's as far as from here to Claremont. But it's flat. There's no valley. It's just a flat field. And there's somebody with an apartment smoking a cigarette, drinking a beer. And I asked the Polish tour guide, tell me, those buildings, how old are they? So they were here well before the war. This is that old, the city limit was there, always.
You
You
could see
tell,
them, they
you
could
tell me
see.
the guy in the porch drinking his beer didn't see anybody here? They didn't
asked
see
the
people in
same
prison
question in
uniforms. You tell me
Teresa's
didn't
house.
see... I understand that if you lived in Poland because somebody's son or grandson who lived on that porch still living in that building. I get it. You're in a place where we have a... I'm not promising you it's going to last forever. But our history in this country has been a very positive history with the population around us. It is the first time in our lives that we've been able to live Jewish lives openly and not have to worry about the
In
ramifications.
Spain.
In Spain, there was
In
a
Spain,
golden
yeah, there was a
age
golden
in
age in Spain.
I don't know how
Forget
long it
about
lasted.
that, Well, no, it lasted actually quite a long time.
The golden age in Spain was not as golden as you would like it.
Well, Jews were still dhimmis, and they, right?
We were,
But
as a
it was
descendant
very
of
liberal.
such
It was
stories,
very liberal.
it was very liberal to that point. Our advisors to the king were also
That's right.
thrown into prisons and
Correct.
murdered, and also when it didn't work out so well in that golden era of Spain, there were such times. America still hasn't. I still haven't seen some Jew being hung in the street in I don't know, Oklahoma because over there they have.
But we don't hang people in the streets. Instead, we arrest them and we
Correct. You're right.
prosecute them.
Except
and we
in
do
the
this and we
60s
do
they
that.
did.
And we had plenty of Jewish people who
In
had
the
been
60s
picked
they
up
did
for
that.
political whatever. Or,
Those
or
3 Jewish boys
lobbying.
that came from Chicago
Which is why I
that went
told you.
down to help with
Which is why I
Martin
told you
Luther
I
King,
don't-
they
I don't
hung them
promise
in
you-
the street.
They got
On the
killed.
tree? Of
Yeah,
course they did.
got
I don't
killed.
promise you this
They
will last
lynched
forever.
them.
Yeah.
But the question is the paradigm in which we think about non-Jews. Does it need to change? Now some would say no, it doesn't because that's how we keep safe. Some would say that it does. Rabbi David Halevy, who you've heard me quote many times in my classes, suggests something very radical. And it's obviously not something everybody will agree on. There's a teaching in Jewish law called Mipnei Darchei Shalom. We do certain things because of peace. To keep the peace, to be peaceful with the people around us. The example, the classic case of Mipnei Darchei Shalom. We don't feel that on a biblical level we have an obligation to hunt down people who aren't Jewish, to give them charity. But we have an obligation to hunt down people from our own community to give charity to. In the idea that every community has to first and foremost care for themselves, and then they can care for everybody else. Our rabbi say, but what about a situation where both a Jew and a non-Jew are collecting in the same time, the same place? He said, if you were only to give to a Jew, he said, you would be very much hurting the person who's not. You'll be creating a strife. You'll be creating, see, Jews, they only take care of themselves. They don't care about anybody else. They have money, but they won't share with me.
That's exactly what they
And
said.
because of that, our rabbi said that in such a situation, or any such situation, if it's, when I go to the hospital and I visit a Jewish patient, I always make sure to go visit somebody else. Why? Just so somebody should know, rabbis also visit people who aren't Jewish. It should be in somebody's head. We don't just go for our own people. We don't just go for our own places. It's an important thing, and you can apply this to many areas of a person's life. Our rabbis dub this term as Mipnei Darchei Shalom. There are things that we might not be obligated to do, but we do them anyways in order to keep the peace in the communities in which we live. Rabbi David Halevy was asked to give a speech as to how this teaching applies to the Arab citizens of the state of Israel.
To the Arabs?
The Arabs.
Arabs,
In the
yes.
state of Israel.
In the state or outside?
In the
state
state.
of Israel.
In the state.
People
who live in
guys,
Yochanan.
not even the guys who live in Gaza. The guy who lives next door to you.
Yes,
Jerusalem.
in Yochanan.
I mean, where is my obligation here? Rabbi David Halevy says something very interesting, and it's something that I'm still mulling through, and every time I read through again, I'm gleaming new insights. He does take a halachic journey here. Did the status of wine touched by non-Jews change? Did the status of selling land to non-Jew land of Israel change? All kinds of things that might happen. Here he just says that his opening statement is the following. From now I wish to address Ketzad alenu lityeches b'mtziut chayenu. In our reality today, how do we treat or deal with b'mdinat Yisrael, in the state of Israel, lehalachot ule'ekronot shenikveu lechatchila mipnei darchei shalom bilvad, which our rabbi said you don't have to do, things that you don't have to do, but our rabbi said you should do in order to keep the peace. In those categories, which was, it's not, ideally I don't have to go look for somebody to give tzedakah to, but now, I do, one second.